Online study of Ashadeep International School, Standard 9th, Subject English, Chapter 2, The Sound of Music, Part 2. Hello students, Part 1 already you studied in first session. Now let's go toward the Part 2. Here are some images of various famous music player given here with different kinds of musical instrument. So you will have to try to identify them. First of all, I want to give brief introduction to the chapter 2, The Sound of Music, Part 2, about Bismillah Khan Shehnai. This chapter gives a brief life story of Bismillah Khan. The Shehnai was developed by a Nai. Nai it means barber. He developed it from an ancient musical instrument called the pungi. The barber played it for the first time in the Shah's, it means emperor, chamber. So it came to be called Shehnai. The most famous player of this instrument was Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was born on 21st March 1916. Even as a little boy, he won many prizes in music. As a Shehnai player, he won many national and international awards. He was awarded Bharat Ratna also. Actually, Ustad Bismillah Khan traveled all over the world, but wherever he was, he could never forget Varanasi and the holy Ganga. Music was always more important to him than money. That was why he was never drawn into films. He felt that music could bridge the gap between different communities. Now look at the first paragraph of the part 1. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noisemakers. Few had thought that it would one day be revived. A barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal palace decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. So, he chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sound were produced. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. As the story grows, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a Nai, it means barber, the instrument was named the Shehnai. This article was written when Bismillah Khan was still alive. The great maestro breathed him last on 21st August 2006. This chapter tells how the Shehnai was developed. It also tells how a little boy grew up to be the master of this instrument. So, what is the basic content of this para? The pungi is a musical instrument. It has a shrill sound. It means unpleasant sound, which we don't like to hear. It is said that Emperor Aurangzeb had banned it playing. He had banned it because it had an unpleasant sound. Now no one hoped that the pungi would ever be heard again due to its unpleasant sound. But there was a barber. He belonged to a family of musicians. So he decided to improve the tone of the pungi. He chose one pipe. It had a natural hollow stem It was broader and longer than the pungi. He made 7 holes on it. When he played on it, a very attractive sound was produced. The barber played it before royalty. Everybody was impressed by its music. So the instrument came to be called Shehnai. It means Shah plus Nai. That's why it's considered as a Shehnai. Now look at here, one beautiful image is given. One is pungi and one is Shehnai. There is a difference between two instruments. Look at the pungi, there is a 7 hollow stems on its body, but it's create a one kind of unpleasant sounds. So decide to revive it, read it gradually. And there is a one another instrument, it's a Shehnai. Shehnai is also originated from the pungi. It's a new version of this pungi, but it's create a very beautiful and attractive sounds which we like to hear. Now look at the second paragraph. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious, and for this reason it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to the Ustad Bismillah Khan. What is told here? While the Shehnai sound considered as a auspicious, it means very attractive. That's why it is played in the holy places like temple, in North Indian wedding. It is a part of tradition of royal court in ancient time. And this credit was going to Ustad Bismillah Khan. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played a gilli danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. This happened years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. Born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather, Razul Baks Khan, was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's Court. His father, Pegambar Baks, and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. So what happened on that time? Ustad Bismillah Khan was the greatest Shehnai player of all time. He was born on 21st March 1960 at Dumrao in Bihar. He belonged to a family of musicians. They were professional Shehnai players. Bismillah Khan was then 5 years old. He used to play gilli danda near a pond at Dumrao. After playing, he would go to a nearby temple. It was called Bihariji temple. He would sing there at Bhojpuri Chaita. So the local Maharaj would be very pleased to hear him. He would give Bismillah Khan a big laddu as a prize. The laddu was weighed 1.25 kilogram. Now look at the 5th number paragraph. The young boy took to music early in life at the age of 3 when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras. Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baks to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baks was employed to play the Shehnai. Ali Baks would pay the Shehnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours to end. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangal Maya, the bank of the Ganga, became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. So, at a very young age, Bismillah Khan moved to Banaras. His maternal uncle, whose name is Ali Baks, lived in Banaras. He taught Bismillah Khan how to play the Shehnai. Bismillah Khan practiced for many years. He would practice for hours in the temple of Balaji and Mangal Maya. He would also go to the banks of the Ganga. There he would practice in solitude. The flowing waters of the Ganga filled him with great inspiration. He invented many new ragas there. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." With the opening of All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often-heard Shehnai player on radio. At the age of 14 only, Bismillah Khan went to Allahabad Music Conference with his uncle, where he got appreciation by Fayaz Khan. What his words? Work hard and you shall make it. In 1938, he became famous Shehnai player on All India Radio. Now look at the 7th number point. When India gained independence on 15 August 1947, Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. He poured his heart out into Rag Kafi from the Red Fort to an audience which included Mahatma Gandhi and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who later gave his famous Tourist with Destiny speech. What Bismillah Khan earned countless awards and honors. When India gained independence on August 15, 1947, he was the first Indian to greet the nation with his Shehnai. He was awarded national awards like Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan also. In 2001, he was awarded the Bharat Ratna, which is the highest civilian award. He was held in high honor in other countries as well. In Tehran, an auditorium has been named after him. It means Bismillah Khan became a very popular person not only in India but in foreign countries also. Also, he got many awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan and Padma Vibhushan also. Altogetherly Bharat Ratna also. Now, Bismillah Khan has given many memorable performances both in India and abroad. His first trip abroad was to Afghanistan, where King Zahir Shah was so taken in by the maestro that he gifted him priceless Persian carpets and other souvenirs. The king of Afghanistan was not only the one to be fascinated with Bismillah's music. Film director Vijay Bhatt was impressed after hearing Bismillah play at a festival that he named a film after the instrument called Gunj Uthi Shehnai. The film was a hit and one of the Bismillah Khan's composition, Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya, turned out to be a nationwide chartbuster. Despite this huge success in the colloquial words, Bismillah Khan's ventures in film music were limited to two: Vijay Bhatt's Gunj Uthi Shehnai and Vikram Srinivas' Kannada venture Sandhi Apanna. I just can't come to terms with the artificiality and glamour of the film world, he says with emphasis. What Bismillah Khan at that time want to tell? Bismillah Khan has given many performances in India, altogetherly in abroad also. His first trip in Afghanistan, where King Jahir Shah gifted him maestro. He was fascinated by Bismillah music. Vijay Bhatt also impressed and given name to the film Gunj Uthi Shehnai. It was outbreaking Bismillah words composition. Dil Ka Khilona Hai Toot Gaya being very popular at that time. Awards and recognition came thick and fast. Bismillah Khan became the first Indian to be invited to perform at the prestigious Lincoln Center Hall in the United States of America. He also took part in the World's Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Art Festival, in the Osaka Trade Fair. So well known did he became internationally that an auditorium in Tehran was named after him, Tahar Mosque Ustad Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan also invited to United States of America at Lincoln Center Hall for performance. He took part in the World Exposition in Montreal, in the Cannes Arts Festival, and Tehran Auditorium was named after him, Tahra Mosque Ustad Bismillah Khan. It means after the performance of Bismillah Khan at the Center Art Festival, which is named after him, Tahar Mosque Bismillah Khan. Also, he got many awards like Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Vibhushan. That is, he is a big breaking success of his life. In 2001, Ustad Bismillah Khan was awarded India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, with the coveted awards resting on his chest and his eyes glinting with rare happiness. He said, "All I would like to say is teach your children music. This is Hindustan's richest tradition. Even the West is now coming to learn our music." So what's Bismillah Khan words on that time in 2001? Ustad Bismillah Khan got civilian awards Bharat Ratna, which is considered as a highest civilian award of India. So Ustad Bismillah Khan wants to convey one message towards society, especially for those who are children. What he suggested: teach your children music, because this is the Hindustan richest tradition. Even the West, it means foreign countries' children, also now coming to here for learn our music. Look at the 12 number paragraph. In spite of having traveled all over the world, Khan Sahib, as he is fondly called, is exceedingly fond of Banaras and Dumrao, and they remain for him the most wonderful towns of the world. A student of his once wanted him to head a Shehnai school in the USA, and the student promised to recreate the atmosphere of Banaras by replicating the temples there. But Khan Sahib asked him if he would be able to transport river Ganga as well. Later he is remembered to have said, "That is why whenever I am going in a foreign country, I keep yearning where to see Hindustan. While in Mumbai, I think of only Banaras and the Holy Ganga, and while in Banaras, I miss the unique matha of Dumrao." Ustad Bismillah Khan was lovingly called Khan Sahib. He traveled all over the world, but he never forgot his home. And of all the places on earth, he was most fond of Banaras and Dumrao. One of his students lived in America. He wanted Khan Sahib to become the head of Shehnai school in America. So he said that he would create there for him the atmosphere of Banaras. He said that he would build similar temples there. But Khan Sahib asked him if he could bring the Ganga there. Now Bismillah Khan's life is a perfect example of the rich cultural heritage of India, one that effortlessly accepts that a devout Muslim like him can very naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Bismillah Khan was successful in the world of cinema also, but he never thought of living in Mumbai. He said that he couldn't live the artificial life of film. He always preferred music to the money. For him, music means one kind of divinity. And the title of Bharat Ratna made no difference to him. He continued to live in his own simple manner. He wanted all parents to teach their children music because he called music is India's richest tradition. And Ustad Bismillah Khan life is a one greatest example of our rich cultural heritage of India. And each and every person without any efforts it's accept that devout Muslim like him can always naturally play the Shehnai every morning at the Kashi Vishwanath temple. Thank you, students.